Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Total Football Talks. We're going to look at all the latest news coming out of Manchester United. And obviously, it was Derby Day yesterday. I didn't do a match reaction, so we'll just do a quick reaction to it now. Where do we all sit with the Derby draw? It was a bit of a dull event in some respects, but the way I try to take some positives from it, I look at it as in we created some chances, which we haven't really done all season, but we are, well, in the last few games, we've started to create chances. The system looks like it's starting to work. Defensively, I feel we were quite strong. Yoro, Maguire, Mazraoui in particular, I thought Mazraoui was superb. I thought Yoro was very, very impressive. And I also think that Maguire had a very, very good 60 minutes. He got through it unscathed, kept the majority of the City attack quiet. Then going forward, I feel like Bruno had a good game, but the rest of the team kind of struggled a bit. Garnacho worked hard, and so did Højlund. Højlund, again, didn't get any service. Still struggled a little bit, so, he still didn't have the best of games. Garnacho, on the other hand, I felt actually tried to do the right things. He opened up opportunities. Instead of shooting, he would make the pass. He made some better choices, and he was a threat at least going forward. Yes, he's got a lot to learn. Yes, maybe he won't be the player that Ruben Amorim wants to keep around in the summer. Maybe he does want to keep him, but the club are going to sell him anyway. But I felt there have been little kind of shoots of green shoots of hope that have kind of been coming through the last few performances. But this is what this is what Ruben Amorim had to say, because obviously Gary Neville had to say a lot after the game. He made some good points. He made some points I wasn't quite on board with. But Gary Neville went on to say I understand that Gary Neville is critical about everything, and I understand that we are in the moment that we're having one of the worst seasons in our history. Manchester City won everything in the past seasons and are struggling. We are not in the best moment to give the best spectacle to our fans. We are not fighting for the big things. Of course, it is different. You have to look for context of the game, and I understand the critical aspect of the players and the players in this game in a different way, because they were fighting all the time for different titles. It's a different context. I think what Ruben Amorim is trying to say is he understands that Gary Neville is being critical. He understands that the history of Manchester United has been fighting for titles. It isn't languishing in 13th in the league, and it's about putting yourself in positions to win the major trophies. We are a long way off that. The players have a long way to go before we're actually going to get there. We need new recruits to come in to help Ruben Amorim get us back to the place that he wants to get to. And Ruben Amorim may not be the man to do it. I mean, I hope he is. I hope he gets the opportunity to do it, but he may not be the person to do it. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes from it. But obviously, I just feel like Ruben Amorim is biting back at Gary Neville, and he's got every right to do so. Gary Neville went on to talk about about the game becoming robotic and players too much kind of respect shown to each other at the end of the game. Is the game becoming sanitized because of this? Get your thoughts in below. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the derby, about the result, about the way the game played out. There was no blood and thunder. It was tepid. I think Ugarte had a flash point with one of the City players. Casemiro had a very strong tackle, which was a clean one on Phil Foden. But bar that, there wasn't a lot of blood and thunder in that particular game, which there has been in the past. Maybe that's gone out of football now. If it has, it's really, really disappointing to see, because that's what brought the Premier League to life. That's what gave it its, it brought the edge that the Premier League had over maybe other leagues, was its intensity, its fire, its passion, as well as its brilliant players. And maybe we have excellent players now, but we definitely have lost a little bit of that fire and passion. Across the board, it's definitely started to descend into kind of nothingness at the minute. We don't see a lot of it. We don't see the kind of hustle and the big clashes that used to take place, the Keenan Vieira in the tunnel, if you remember that. Those big moments, unfortunately, there's not many of them around anymore. So has the game changed? Yeah, it probably has. Is the game progressing? In technical aspects, it probably is, but in other aspects, it's maybe getting, it's becoming more dull, unfortunately. But guys, thank you very much for joining me. if you're enjoying the content, if you could jump on the old subscribe button, get involved in the comments below. Really, really appreciate all you guys who have been dropping the old comments in and being able to get back to you. I've loved it. So thanks very much for that. And yeah, hit the old like button. That would massively help me out too if you're enjoying the content. Right, we're going to move on to the next little bit. And this is what Ruben Amorim had to say on Casemiro. So he wasn't playing because I understood in the moment that he was not the best option because the way he wanted to play, but he continued to work. The credit is all on Casemiro. Now, Casemiro was a player who, whenever Ruben came in, wasn't used very much, but now he's actually being used quite heavily, which is great for Casemiro. And we're starting to recoup a little bit of the value that we have, laden upon him with the wages and how much we paid for him, because in his first season he was brilliant. Last season he wasn't so good. This season he hasn't really come to the fore, but in the last kind of 3 or 4 games, Ruben has used him a lot more, and he has become a bit more pivotal to how we've been playing. And he's been he has won a lot of tackles, and I'll just bring this statistic up here. Casemiro made 11 tackles against Manchester City today, the joint most by a Manchester player on record from 2006-2007 in the Premier League. And that was Owen Hargreaves against Liverpool, and in 2007 season 2008, and that was Patrice Evra against Portsmouth. So obviously Casemiro is starting to find his feet in the system. Ruben Amorim is starting to appreciate what value he can bring to the team, and I think it's brilliant that we're being able to get something out of a player who is valuable in terms of what we paid for him and the wages that we were paying, that we're starting to see a return on that again, which is happy days. Long may that continue. Whether he's the right person to go forward with long term, get your thoughts in below. I'd love to know. Do you like to see the fact that Casemiro is doing well? Do you still think we should move him on in the summer? Do you think this reprieve will help him stay? Because he's obviously talked about wanting to keep his contract and wanting to give himself another season at Manchester United. Do you think this helps his cause, or would you prefer him to be sold and off to Saudi Arabia so we can get the wages off the books and we can bring in a younger version of a Casemiro type player, or someone who would fill that void that he would leave? Or if he stays, can he help nurture some of the younger players through, maybe Collier, maybe some of the other younger players that are coming through the youth setup, or maybe someone that we bring in that's probably going to be younger, because that's what the market we seem to be looking at. But yeah, get your thoughts in on Casemiro. I'd love to hear what you guys think on that one. So this has just come in from Mark Ogden. Manchester United will rival Chelsea in the race to sign Liam Delap this summer, after identifying the Ipswich Town forward ahead of Gyökeres and Sesko and Osimhen as a solution to the goal scoring problem. The fee will be in and around 40 million. Once again, this story has been heavily linked to Manchester United. It seems that whatever players Manchester United are interested in, Chelsea are interested in. Chelsea are still like Quenda. Obviously, they've got him over us, so fair play. We lost on that one. Now they're in for potentially looking at Delap. They want a striker, and they have a similar type of policy under 25s that they want to bring into their team. And maybe Delap will fill into that one. Guys, apologies, my washing machine's going crazy downstairs and the door is open, and that is the reason why you might have to hear a spinning cycle in the background. Apologies for that. But the Delap story's not going anywhere. It looks like we're going to chase Delap right to the end. So Delap or Osimhen. I know you guys in my comments have felt that Osimhen isn't a real deal. There are stories were breaking yesterday that potentially Osimhen could be a deal done, or that we could look at to him because his representatives were in London, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe Delap is the way forward, and it's another young striker coming in, and I can only hope that he can deliver the goods, because the pressure will be unbelievable on this kid if he comes in to try and help bring us back to where we need to go to. Okay, so this is what was said about the next story in terms of transfers. Real Betis sporting director Manu Fajardo, I can't pronounce that, apologies. It's still early days, but we're trying in different ways to do everything we can possible to continue enjoying Antony. Now, obviously Antony's ripping it up, and everyone keeps sending clips out there across, X and that kind of thing about how well Antony's done. He's been superb. They desperately want him. I mean, I think if they're that desperate and he's that good, then they will find a way to pay his fee and find the money for his wages. If they love him that much, they will find a way to make this work, and that can only be good for us. If he goes, we get the opportunity to sell him, get the opportunity to take the wage bill off the books, and we get a nominal fee that allows us at least to break even on PSR and FFP, then that's a deal done. But can they do it? But as long as Antony keeps doing his job, which he obviously is doing, which is great, maybe other suitors will come in. We know that Bayern Munich have had a sniff. Maybe there will be other suitors in the summer that will come in and try and take Antony off Real Betis, and maybe we can factor in a little bit extra money. But at the minute, if we were to get 25 million and the wages off the books, I think Manchester United will be quite happy with that. And then this is the story. There was two other little stories. Manchester United are interested in Ian Subiabre. And that was, a story that was, we looked at him before, and a young Argentinian that plays on the left side, very, very interesting kid, got a lot of potential, but again, a lot of potential. And then talking about potential, this is the final story. Manchester United are interested in Fiorentina's centre-back, Pietro Comuzzo, a 20-year-old who United have sent to watch. United scouts have been to watch at Fiorentina a few times across recent games. Another young player being linked with, the list is probably endless. I wouldn't even like to try and write a list of all the issues that are not all. I wouldn't like to write a list of all the players that Manchester United have looked at in recent times, because it would be unbelievably extensive. I believe Alice Talks Football has done something where she has done it. Looked at all the players that we've been linked to, and it's a multitude of madness. But yeah, we're obviously not going to sign all these players. We're going to maybe get one or two, maybe 3 or 4 max across the summer. But they're all the players we've been linked with. That's your kind of 10-minute roundup. If you're enjoying the content, hit the old subscribe button, get your comments in below, hit the like button. Really helps me out. Thank you very much. It's all free. And 300, and I think half my audience hasn't subscribed yet. If you guys could subscribe, if you keep coming back, I'd love it. And thank you for sticking around to the end. It massively helped me out. Okay, guys, I'll leave it there.